Buying more gear and watching more fishing videos won't catch you striped bass. So if you're putting in the effort and still not catching fish consistently, I know exactly why. And in this video, I'll show you a proven fish finding formula. I teach all of my clients a simple way to pick the right lures for the right conditions to actually get bites, and how to position yourself from the bank or the boat to seal the deal and catch more fish. So let's start with finding fish, and I'm gonna give you a 3-part formula that makes this way simpler than most people think. The biggest problem most anglers have is that they're fishing in dead zones and they don't even know it. They have no process, they have no way to adjust when conditions change. They're just out there fishing and hoping fish find them. There's a couple of good jags right there. See all those birds right there? Now there's a fleet of boats right here next to me. Nobody's paying attention. I always say this, you always got to be paying attention to what nature's telling you here. Yeah, always be fishing. That's the motto. Okay, let me get this in spot lock. Whew. Boy, what a takedown that was. That's a decent fish right there. Always be fishing, fishalots. Oh my gosh, what a takedown. Big old striped bass. Oh, it's been a while. Wow, look at the size of that striper. Wow, that's a big striper on a bucktail. Everybody wants to go these fancy lures all the time. Good old-fashioned bucktail. Oh, we're in him now. I gotta get him up. I got another fish right here next to me. Come here, fish. Stop fighting, I want to catch another one. Bucktail in the... Wow, that's a big one. That is a big one. Now I just followed those birds. Just follow the birds. Maybe I can get them in here. Come here, bud. There's more fish swimming here. All right, come here, bud. I'll get you sorted. This is a really... Ooh, wow. There you go. That is a really nice striper. Now, of course, my GoPro's not working at all. Oh, man alive. That is a beaut. Whew. All right, there's another fish here. He's got a hold of my thumb here. Let him swim off. Boop, he's gone. The trick is to find that sweet 90-10 zone, or the 80-20 zone, where 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water, or the majority of fish are in the minority of water. And if you get good at finding these areas with active feeding fish, you can often have piles of these fish all to yourself when everyone else is relying on watching the next YouTube video or buying the next expensive reel when it comes out. Now, if you're finding these tips useful and you want to go deeper on how you can find fish just like the pros, go on and click on the link below where you could book a free discovery call with me, and we'll see exactly how I could help you do exactly just that and catch tons of fish. So go ahead and check it out below. I look forward to talking to you, Fishalots. So here's a process I use in action that could bring you from 0 fish to catching fish all day. So where everyone else is fishing the same old spots, the mouth of the bay and the ocean where the fish were previously swimming into the bay, I knew these fish wanted to find warmer water and warm up because they got to get their body temperatures up in order to spawn. And so I started looking for areas that would maintain its warmth or warm up faster as the weather conditions change. So first I started in the shallows, where I knew shallow marshes marshes and secondary creeks would flush out with the outgoing tide and bring warm water to the fish as well as some bait. But unfortunately there was no fish, and the water in these areas were actually cooler because of how fast the temperatures dropped. So the next stop, plan B, was to try the deeper channels, where deep water tends to be a lot more stable regarding water temperature changes. But there was still no fish. The channel was slightly warmer, but devoid of any signs of life. And so next up, I targeted a large flat at the mouth of a major river system, where the flat would not only warm up faster because of all its shallow water, but its mud bottom would maintain that heat even though the temperatures were dropping. The large river would also be pouring into the bay on the outgoing tide, bringing even more warm water to this flat. In addition to that, as I was making my way into the flat, I just saw a few birds. They were seagulls. The fish are cold. They were not showing themselves. So I take nature's indicators, I start making my way over to these birds, and they're just looking around for some fish. That's a perfect indicator, and I move right in, and I was marking some bunker there as well. So I got the birds, I got some bunker, I got a flat, I got some warm water, and now it's fishing time. Man, I just couldn't get him up quick enough to get the other fish. You're such a strong fish. Okay, I'm in the school bunker. There we go, got him. Got that one too. I was in the school bunker, got the fish. Tell ya, see the birds? I can't believe all these other boats didn't do that. Another nice fish. Look at this fish. Look at that. That's amazing. What a run. Oh, I'm in heaven right now. Catching fish when nobody else is. Man, I made a lot of pivots to find these fish. I'm going to spot lock here. Seems to be. Oh, yeah, it's a big one. Look at that. Fellow kayaker there saw me. That's a big fish. Oh my gosh. That's a nice big striper right there. Head shakes. He is angry but beat. Angry but beat. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, careful, bud. I'll get you loose. I'll get you loose. Oh. Boy, look at that one. Gonna de-hook him here real fast. That is a big, big fish. There we go. Got him loose there. Whew. Yeah, man, that's what we're after. Oh man, what a beauty. Man, I wish that front camera was working. You could see how big these fish are, but we'll get them go. There we go, ready? She is gone. So how do you do what I just did and break down the water to find fish when conditions change that drastically? Well, I'm going to show you the exact process I use with every single one of my clients, and once you get it, you'll never be guessing again where those fish are. And this is a fishing triangle, a system that revolves around 3 crucial elements in finding any fish, and all the elements are equally as important as each other. The first step that was the driving force behind finding these fish with a significant weather event like this terrible cold front was knowing and finding the fish's comfort zone. Striper ideally love water temps between 55 and 65 degrees to about 68 degrees. They're really looking for water in the low to mid 60s at this point. So now you don't have to be a biologist to fish here, but by doing some simple research on scientific sites like the National Marine Fisheries Service or U.S. Fish and Wildlife, you could absolutely find all this information about what these fishes prefer and what their comfort zones are. So a fish's comfort zone really depends on the time of year, the water temps, and the depth that you could expect to find fish. In this example here where I start catching fish, everyone was fishing deep all in the same spot, but I focused on the shallow areas and tried to find some warmer water. I found an area where the temps were nearly a full 1.5 degrees higher than everywhere else, and it was loaded with our next step in the process, and that is easy access to food. And prey fish like bunker often follow the same comfort patterns as their predators like a striped bass. So you find the right depth, you find the comfort zones, and you'll find the bait. Find the bait and you'll find the big fish. Now next up on the triangle is protection from predators. Now this is one of the most overlooked aspects of the triangle because everyone always thinks a big shark or dolphins or something like that are the striper's main predators. But that would be completely false. People are what is going to make these fish more cautious than anything. So where everyone was fishing in that channel, you have to imagine that if there were 100 fish in the channel and 100 boats were over those fish, that means realistically you probably had a shot at about 1 fish. You add in the fact that fish absolutely associate boats and people with predation, and the fish will often move out of the area due to the fishing pressure, or they'll just shut down and get lockjaw at times during the day when human activity is at its highest. Now, there is a 4th factor in the fishing triangle that affects each of the 3 points that we just discussed, and that is water movement. So this could be from the tide or the wind, but predator fish often use water movement to their advantage as smaller prey items get caught in strong currents and can't maneuver out of the way of the bigger fish. Additionally, fish will often position themselves in structures like points or flats, shoals, secondary mouths to rivers, so on and so forth, where the moving water will actually bring injured or dying prey items to bigger predators. So water movement can also bring warm or cool water to an area, so knowing the time of year that you're in and the tides and the wind can be crucial to your fishing success. So what does this all mean for you? Well, in the early spring where fish are looking to warm up, it is worth knowing that the ocean water is freezing cold compared to the shallow muddy water in the back bays that are going to warm up quickly. So when fish want to warm up, an outgoing tide is going to be great as the fish are going to be more comfortable as warmer water is flushing out towards the ocean from the warming, more shallow back bay areas. Then, as the incoming tide comes in from the ocean, all that cold ocean water will push the fish back into the warmer parts of the bay. Now, in late spring, the opposite will be true, where just a few weeks later, the back bay may get too warm, like in the upper 60s, lower 70s, and the fish will respond better to the incoming tide, where the cooler ocean water puts the bay water back into that fish's comfort zones. Now, if you need help finding these ideal fish locations, I actually created a tool that quickly identifies the best fishing spots for you and actually analyzes the spot and tactics per the weather conditions. It's helped hundreds of my clients catch more fish. It's totally free, totally up to you. I'll link it down below. Nothing is worse than second guessing yourself if you're using the right lure or not, especially once you know you're in an area with fish. So let me show you the exact process I use, and once you see it, you'll never stand there second guessing yourself again. There are 3 basic reasons you're not catching fish with lures or bait that nobody talks about, but that you really have to pay attention to. And the first one is going to be your depth control. Now, this is going to be important to avoid all that influencer advice out there of best baits in April and all this kind of stuff. The important thing is to think about the lessons that we previously just discussed about the fish's comfort zone, where they want to be in the water. Do they want to be in that warmer water or cooler water? Do they want to be next to that structure and that cover? And do they have easy access to food and protection from predators? That is going to be key in determining where in the water column you are going to fish for these fish. So you really want to determine, are the fish going to be shallow or are they going to be deep? Do I have a lure that can be fished in a versatile way that will allow me to put my lure in front of a fish no matter where they are in the water? So the second point here is going to be your profile of your baits. So for this, you really have to pay attention to what the fish are eating. Okay, are they eating large fish? Are they eating small fish? And you're going to have to match your presentations to that. A huge misconception out there is that big baits catch big fish, but that is not always true. A matter of fact, you'll be amazed at how large of a fish will eat small presentations of lures. You just have to figure out each day what they're honed in on, and if you can match that with big or small lure or bait presentations. And your final thing, this is the big killer out there, and that's going to be your speed of your presentation. This is going to be the #1 killer for a lot of anglers out there, especially with all that advice out there about extra fast action rods and super high gear ratio reels. A lot of anglers out there are just fishing way too fast. And if you fish too fast, you're going to eliminate your depth control and you're going to take your bait out of that depth zone too quickly, and you're going to remove that bait from the fish before they have a chance to strike. So this spot right here, where you have this intersection of the correct speed, the correct profile of your baits, and your correct depth and depth control, this is going to be key to your fishing success right here. And those are the 3 reasons why a lot of people fail at catching fish with lures or bait. Now that you know where the fish are and what to throw, there's one thing left that most anglers completely ignore, and it's the reason they spook fish before they even make a cast, either from the bank or the kayak or the boat. Now you see this all the time with striped bass fishing, where you have some birds that indicate where some feeding fish are, and then about 6 or 7 boats race in there going about 100 miles an hour, and they drive right over the fish. They were so anxious to get there fast and beat out everybody to get to the fish, they completely missed out on the fact that those fish associate 30-foot boats going 100 miles an hour as predators, and they dive, 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 never to be caught again. So what you could do is simply sort out where the fish are moving to in correlation with the tide or the wind or whatever is pushing the fish, and get ahead of the fish. Then as you're ahead of where they're moving to, you have a shot at the front end of the school as they're approaching you, the middle of the school, and of course the back end of the school as those fish pass by you. And this is great as opposed to you just driving straight over the fish. Also, position yourself far enough away where you could cast to the fish instead of just fishing right on top of them. The second huge benefit to reading the water is that it allows you to position yourself correctly to take advantage of subtle structure changes under the surface of the water that nobody else is going to fish. Now, this is something that I continually teach to all of my clients. I teach it to my nieces and my own children as well. It's an incredibly important skill of fishing. And once you get the hang of reading the water and learning how to use moving water, you will absolutely be amazed at how many more fish you will catch. I can't believe I'm the only one in here catching these fish. You see, you can see the current line right there. See like how that rips through there? So you got like a hole right here, and then you got like, looks like raindrops, and then another hole right here. And that's where I'm fishing, okay? So I want to fish these structures. The wind is blowing and the water is moving with the tide, and it's revealing all these tiny little underwater structures that you're not gonna get via contour maps, and you're not even gonna pick up, you know, with fancy sonar or anything like that. This is just reading the water, realizing what the fish's preferences are, and then trying to match those preferences with your fishing. And you know, we experimented. There was a fish that chased it, so I thought maybe they're a little more aggressive than they were, so I reeled it in real fast, gave it a real speedy retrieve, didn't catch a fish, slowed it down. Literally the first cast after I slowed it down in one of these little holes that I was talking about, whammo, I got a fish. I thought there's a lot of seaweed and debris down. There he is. There he is. And that's exactly, I love when fish prove me right, by the way. I was just saying how you got to fish inside these holes. And that's exactly what happened. This fish is swimming right at me. Right at me, and he's going to be mad when he sees the boat. Yep, there you go. Oh, yep, there's the head shakes. He just booked it right to me there. Now he's going to run. Is he going to run? Is he big? Maybe he's a little male. See, I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to sort me out here. Like, he got me under the boat. I'm just going to keep steady pressure on him and bring him out because my motor's still running. Oh, there he goes. I knew he was going to get mad. I'm going to spot lock here. I am spot locked. I knew he was going to get mad. He just had to see the boat first. Ooh, it's another big fish. That is another big fish. He just swam right at me that time. Wow. You see that's SFG knot right there? Holding strong, as always. Oh, man, I love it. I love it. I love fishing. She swam right at me. I thought it was going to be an easy one. There she goes. And now she's saving all her fight for right next to the boat. It's like a cobia. Oh, there's a fish right there. Oh, there's a fish right there swimming right by. There's another one. This is one of those things where I'd really like to get her up quicker so that I get one of those fish. All right, she's done. She's going to be done here in a minute because I'm going to grab the leader. Come here, almost leadered. Got him. Got the leader. That's another big, old striped. Look at the size of that striper right there. That's a beauty. That is a beauty. All right, let's get her. Gotta get her. Okay. Right in the top of the mouth. Perfect hook set. Always support the body. Again, the GoPro's not working, so very briefly, I'll give you a shot of her. There she goes. She's off. Now, if you want to see just how critical positioning is to your fishing success, go ahead and click on this video right here, where I show you how spot selections from the bank is absolutely key for catching you big fish when nobody else can catch a fish. So, all right, thanks for tuning in, Fish-a-lots. I'll see you out there on the water.